Sup peeps, my name's Ian. I sell books on eBay and recently, occasionally on Whatnot, but it's eBay. eBay is where you make money, and it's eBay I'm here to talk about, show you what's gone out over the last 24-ish hours. I missed the Sunday-ish sales. I've just been really busy with other things and I could not fit in to just do it in the one go. I was having to do bits as I went through the days, so apologies for that. If anybody bought something and you've not seen it, very, very sorry, but at least it's on its way to you. But we've got a nice little mix to show you and share with you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, a few days ago, whenever you're watching this video. First up for today, we have by Michael Ondaatje. So many pronunciations that I just don't know. Warlight, so it's the dude that wrote The English Patient, which was a movie and very, very popular. Nice wee hardcover copy of that one. It's nothing spectacular edition or signature or anything wise, but $4.25 for a nice wee hardcover book. Going to Peter. So enjoy that one, Peter. Next, we have got another £4.25 book, one of the vintage classics. So Thomas Mann, Death in Venice and Other Stories. So really nice condition. Paperback book of that. Tend to find with a lot of these, same with the Penguin classics, people have had them on the shelf. They've been perhaps browsed, but they've never really been read. So they tend to be in really good condition. £4.25. Which takes us on to another £4.25 book. Again, this one's been on a shelf. I don't think it's ever been read. Again, it's maybe one of these books that gets perused and browsed, but it's Neil deGrasse Tyson and Death by Black Hole and other cosmic quandaries. Again, let's say £4.25. So a few of these wee cheapy books. Well, they're not cheap, but you know, low value, low profit, but they just keep churning out, so quite happy with that. The next one, not so cheap. So I had this in a Whatnot show the other day, and I can't remember, £5 or £10, something like that. It started at V.E. Schwab, really popular at the moment. It's been signed by her twice. There's a signature page and a signature on a page. So one signature, two signatures. First edition, it's was this like a Illumicrate? Yes, an Illumicrate book, V.E. Schwab. So I had that on Whatnot for £5–10. Nobody was interested. It's obviously a much smaller audience that's available there to find the right type of buyer. But within a day, sticking it onto eBay, $29.99. So that's the kind of bargains we had going on Whatnot. But I'm quite happy that that didn't sell because I've got £30 for it straight away on eBay. Next up, let's go into Philip. For Daniel, another £4.25 book. There we go. Robin Stevens, Top Marks for Murder. It's got a few in that series. I've been trying to build up a set, but not having much luck with that at all. I've only ever got like 2 or 3 at a time, but £4.25 for that one there. And another single book, but a wee bit better than £4.25 this time. We've got Brian Jacks' Matimio, so A Tale of Redwall. Okay, excellent condition. It's got one slight crack on the spines, which you can't even see, you can't even feel it. You've got to look really hard. So it may have been read, but it may not. It's got one wee turned page there. Let's sort that out. $5.99 for the Brian Jacks book. Right, another one that was up in Whatnot for £1 or $2 and has sold for £9 on eBay almost as soon as I have listed it. So be here now. Ram Dass, and it's Buddhist stuff, and it's got lots of inspirational bits and bobs. And it's from like the 70s, so it's in really good condition for something that's from way back then. But $8.99 for that one. And on to another single book. So this my variation listings, so you know, buy 3 get 2 free, buy 2 get 1 free, but there's always postage on top. As I say, occasionally they sell as single books, and that is the case with this one. We've got Alex Gray, Before the Storm, £6.99, £3 plus postage. So that's heading to James. Thank you, James. 2 more to look at just now. We've got a Philip Pullman trilogy, £8.99, so that's the Scholastic editions. They've been selling really well as bundles. Had them for ages, finally bundled them up properly, and they're going out the door really, really quickly. So £8.99 for the 3 of those paperbacks. And finally, a bundle of Ian Rankin. So 1 hardcover, 4 paperbacks. Yeah, bread and butter stuff off the variation listing. Buy 3 get 2 free. Somebody's obviously taken advantage of that. Mark has taken advantage of that. £13.69 for the 5 of those. So 10 sales since later on yesterday. Not bad, not great, not bad. It's about 90 quid's worth there. A third for eBay, a third in post, a third for me. That's typically how it rolls. So not a great day of sales, especially as it's early in the month and like to get a nice wee uplift here, there and everywhere. But it's been really, really consistent for the last many, many weeks, which, although the sales aren't fantastic, because it's consistent, it becomes slightly more reliable. It becomes something that you can begin to work. Did I say to work around? I pause it there as I really needed to sneeze, but that's dealt with. Yeah, so because it's consistent sales, I mean, it's still, you get big days and you get low days, but the level of sales has been very consistent for quite a period. So that's a good sign, because it shows I can now go and look at all of that data and work out where I need to expand on things and where I need to contract on things, which will take a wee bit of head scrambling to, you know, look at and work out, but it's all to the good. I have got no pickups to do today. I have got lots of listing to do today, with all the whatnot stuff and whatnot. I've got a bit of a backlog in getting stuff up onto eBay. It's been a wee bit slow over the weekend doing that, at the expense of sticking stuff elsewhere, which has, mentioned this the other day, mixed results. It's still not worth doing financially if you look at it from the point of view of an hourly rate, for example, but is it sales I wouldn't have had otherwise? Certainly, yeah, quite a few of them. There's a few bits and pieces in there that may have sold on eBay at the same time. It could have happened. I would have made a wee bit more money on them. There's stuff that if I'd just sat on it for another week, 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever it might be, would have sold on eBay, and I would have made a wee bit more money on it. But right now, I had some available time to do that and try it out, so why not use that time? And although, like I say, if you were to work it out, then, you know, would you be willing to do all of that for minimum wage? Well, plenty of us have worked for minimum wage and will continue to work for down towards the minimum wage, so there's no complaints from that point of view. There are better ways, potentially, if you're doing the whole reselling thing, to invest your time and make more money, but got to look at all of these things as a long game. It's taken, you know, months and months and months to slowly build this niche eBay business. We're really just dealing with books. I've mentioned this before, I could have stayed as an everything reseller and probably made more money over the period, but it would have reached a ceiling quite quickly. There would be very little room to advance and progress, because the listing takes a lot longer when you're doing lots of different things. The packing becomes more complicated, and all these processes get much more difficult. So slowly, step by step, building up the book side of things has been successful, and I now make average daily sales the same as what I did faffing about doing the everything bits and pieces. Storage takes an awful lot more, I have to admit, but the picking, packing, sourcing, listing is so much quicker and more straightforward that it makes it well worthwhile. That makes slightly more sense than worth out. Don't even know what that could mean. So I'm looking at the Whatnot thing in a similar fashion. It is not going to be incredibly lucrative at the outset. There's very few things ever are. But if it's something that can build, then it becomes more successful. You'll see the bookcase behind me there. So those of you that joined yesterday evening, thank you very much. It was always fun to do these things, but that bookcase was full. The shelves, you can see all of them were full. The items that have sold in yesterday's sale created the gaps. So you can see that it was a small proportion of everything that I prepared and put on that actually sold. So I think 4 different buyers. Well, again, if any of you guys are watching, thank you very much, hugely appreciated. But it's going to be a learning curve to work out which of these things are worth putting up and which things aren't. And that's also going to be dictated by available audience. So at the moment, we're only a few shows in. Most who are attending and viewing are quite probably coming from, you guys out there. So again, thank you very much. And it will take time to build up an audience independent of that and, stretch that reach. And only then will, I know if it's worth having all of these types of things listed or not. So it was all mysteries and thrillers yesterday evening. Certain authors went particularly well because individuals were obviously looking for those particular authors. Other authors, which I thought might have had as good a chance as any to sell, no interest. A couple that I'd thrown in there experimentally, no interest. But that's with quite a limited audience. As that audience grows, will it be more worthwhile? So it's a kind of chicken and egg situation. Keep running the shows with everything you've got available, and as that audience potentially, hopefully increases, wait till it begins to kind of level out and you've got a fairly consistent number of viewers, attendees, depending on the time of day, the day of the week, and what the subject matter is, and then can decide what is actually worth putting up there to sell. There's a couple of things I know I'm unlikely to put forward and Whatnot again. For example, expensive books. There's too much risk, I think, that to get interest in them, I need to start at a very low price, which I did with this one compared to its final selling price. So there's potential, I wouldn't lose money, but I would be taking money out of my pocket that I would maybe get in a week or 2 weeks down the line. And, if you were to do that 10 times a week, and you were taking a tenner out of your pocket every time because of where you were selling it, then that's £100 a week, £400 a month. It quite quickly adds up, and it could potentially be a lot more than 10 times a week if I wasn't careful. A few books that sell well and for quite a lot of money did sell through the Whatnot sales I had over the weekend. So somebody, either for themselves or if it's getting flipped on again, there's good money to be made on quite a few of those things. But I'm not sure I want to be taking that risk too often. High value, good quality books are very much the minority. It's the £1 and £2 books, which I have most of, because that's really where my focus lies. So that type of thing for Whatnot, good quality collectible stuff, until there is enough of an audience, enough of a market there to potentially have it as a bit more of an auction rather than it's more just like a live sale, £1, £2, £4, and they're going on, for the most part, one bids. Then those types of things with a bit more value I'll be keeping on eBay, and only very occasionally sticking onto the Whatnot shows. So that's where we're going to go with that. So yes, it has been a busy weekend, a busy few days. Packaging has been a complete pain in the backside. Not because it's difficult or something new, but as most of the packages that are going through that are going over a 2 kilo, Whatnot goes straight to DPD. So a lot of these things, my normal would be plenty of bubble wrap and into a poly mailer, and they go very well like that. Because it's DPD, they want everything boxed, so it just adds on an extra few minutes for everything. So instead of wrap, bag, label, done, it's wrap, box, fold, pack, all of that, tape. So it just adds on extra time, which has been a bit annoying to say the least, but I'm sure we'll get past on that as we go. Anyway, that's all I've really got to blather about this morning. So as ever, thanks very much for dropping in, joining me for this little spiel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like what you see, leave us a like. If there's other things you would like to see, leave us a comment. All the usual stuff. Anyway, thank you very much again, and I shall see you tomorrow.